So actually, before we start the show today, I wanted to take this time to congratulate Brian for his performance this weekend. It was a great parade, Christmas parade, and let's take a look at his performance.
Oh, shit.
Got him.
Oh, I'm going to die.
Welcome, everybody, to tonight's Plumes of Hazard. I am the Master of Ceremonies. I'm Mask Blast 09. Here are my co-hosts, Understudy 77, Fubaka, and this wonderful beast right here.
The Angstful Twirler.
Yeah, baby.
Dude, those are hella baton skills, dude. Where'd you pick those up?
I'm not sure.
Fuck you, Masty. I love you very much.
Oh, that's so good.
Hey, chat just hit the bed already. All right.
Yeah. That's it. Get out of the way early.
Yeah.
For everybody who's new, I did see that one person was new. Just reload chat. It'll come back. It usually takes a crap once a week like this at the beginning of the show. So IRC.
There it goes.
That's not how we're supposed to start off the show, which I don't mind you playing that, but
That one was better.
Oh, wait. Okay, so I got to play the other one. Sorry, here we go.
So we have another. There's an alternate. Let's just do the alternate.
We have a double. We have an angsty double feature.
Tonight on Plumes of Hazards.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Angsty's Top Reviews. Today I've got the top by EVL. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Angsty's Top Reviews. Today I've got the top by EVL. It's made out of brass. Well, it spins. It's still spinning. Thanks for coming to Angsty's Top Reviews.
Yeah.
No, that one is equally good. For anybody who did not catch the purpose for that, we're a little shifted in topic tonight to a longtime machinist and top maker. Rich Stadler from Billet Spin is going to come join us later and chat with us later, which is really cool. But like we told him, we can't have a top maker come on without poking a little bit of fun.
that's right. Hold on, now I gotta find a gift for the chat.
I will say that what I like about Rich is he laughed his ass off at that video.
He did, to his credit, because it's a funny thing. That's all there is to it. Here you go, hot nut butter. That's for you. It's
Is it pound the home page or just pound?
Just pound.
1 pound.
Pound, just pound.
Yeah,
1
pound.
pound.
Pound town?
Pound
Yeah.
town.
So before we get into it too, we should say that there's going to be 2 contests going on for 2 tops. I will screen share
Because Rich is awesome.
because Rich is absolutely awesome. So I'm going to screen share. Is that up for everybody?
Yep.
So this is the newest top design that just closed today, so you can't actually buy it anymore. And these ones have been sold out for a while. That's flamed stainless steel, and that's flamed copper. We're going to have one of each of these two tops to give away. One we're going to give away during the show. It's going to be that one. And then one we're going to let run till later this week so that people who rewatch can have a shot at it.
Hey, Masty, that guy in your video, he probably likes the flamed things, I'm guessing. That's what I'm assuming. It's the flame stainless steel. That was his outfit.
Very much, yeah. So to grab the flame copper one during the show, we're going to go old school and we're going to go back to MS Paint contests.
Yeah.
I thought that was the suit from that suit looked like the one that weren't they wearing it in like the Mo Money Mo Problems video? They were wearing like the all silver suits. Yeah.
He certainly filled it out, that's for sure.
I think it was in the Mo Money video.
But yeah, so
No, MS Paint, not that guy. Do not MS Paint that guy, please.
yeah, no,
Nobody wants to see that.
What? So this was your design, right?
Yeah, so before the end of the show, you have to MS Paint, and no cheating, no Photoshop, MS Paint tools only. There are equivalents for guys on Mac, like Pixlr.com and stuff. Just no advanced tools, basically just brushes. And you have to MS Paint a top design.
I'm making the thread right now.
There's going to be a thread coming up in the Plumes of Hazard group. We will also link the Plumes of Hazard group for you guys. For anybody who's not in there, you got to post the picture in the thread. 1 entry per person. That's it. And at the end of the show, we'll pick the one that kind of makes us laugh the most or the coolest one, and they will win a top.
Yep, make a good top because these are freaking cool tops.
So let's talk about vaping stuff for a little while first.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we?
I guess.
Boo. What are you vaping? It's going to be the same as last week, but we might as well get it out of the way.
I got busy. I was supposed to have my billow rebuilt with abolishment. I didn't finish building it, actually. I got fucking busy with work today. So there's supposed to be abolishment in my billow. But for now, I'm just doing Cozy Custard in the Kennedy on the Titan. Yay. Angsty.
Billet box. Abolishment. Dia. Billet box got the extra side. Dia, Narda, bell cap, fancy bell cap. It's got, actually, you know what? It doesn't have Railcracker in this time. For the first time in like ever. It's actually got a different one. And this is going to my juice shout out.
So it's another graham cracker.
Yeah. That's the derailment maple stack. Maple stack, which is basically Railcracker, except for it's got maple flavoring, something or another in it. But it's kind of like the crust maple pie, whatever thing going on. That's what's in there. The Evo, Narda bell cap, has got, what is it? Oh, Lushington. That's right. We'll talk about that in a minute. Last but not least, I rebuilt my my Limelight Freehand S, and it has got a drifter on top with Get Pissed. John.
What? I didn't do it. Or my Dia Narda bell cap, that we'll talk about the bell cap later, with abolishment and a billet box with an exo set with Get Pissed in there. Mast.
I got my Hexome Danny 200, and I have in here some Mass tea, but I still smell some of that Irish Carbon.
Yeah.
The freaking Velocity is a pain in the dick to clean out. It's like it's got all these little cracks and it just finds stuff. But at first you don't smell it, and then a few days
it comes right
like,
back.
yeah, and you're like, what? Where is it hiding?
Creeps back in.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm surprised you don't use your Everclear. Get out clean.
I was going to say,
I did.
What if I told you Cisco is behind my bookshelf right now?
Shit, he probably is.
And Irish Carbon is probably pretty sticky in things.
Yeah. I think it's on the plastic. Mass Irish tea. Yeah, no. I mean, it doesn't. It's just, it smells weird. It doesn't taste weird.
Well, we jump right into that one.
Yeah, we did. That was quick.
Our normal screwing around segment was taken over by a contest.
Yeah. Well, and 2 particularly funny videos.
We have our first entry.
Do we? Yes. I love it. I need to turn on notifications for this thread.
Yep.
I don't think that's Facebook appropriate.
Bong.
Not for kids, folks. Not for kids. Okay, so stuff. Do we have stuff? Boo, do you have stuff?
I do have some stuff. Actually, so yeah, I'm vaping Cozy Custard. I ordered some, and it's here. It's fucking delicious. I got here on Thursday, and I'm already fucking down, just about done with the first bottle. Don't worry, there's another one.
Okay. It's best fresh anyway.
Yeah. I've let Cozy Custard. I vape Cozy Custard as much as like I'm 3 weeks a month old. It's not bad, but yeah, it's better fresh.
Mm-hmm.
As is like Baked Banana. Brown Betty, I'd like to let sit a little bit, like a week.
Yeah.
Week and a half. Same thing with Baked Blue. But
most of them, yeah.
so yeah, very excited to have that back in my life. Because I was waiting for that. I was vaping the Dolomite I'd mentioned the other week. The last 10-15 mils of that bottle did become a little overbearing. But I mean, overall, I still enjoyed it. Anyway, so I found a really fucking funny thread on Reddit, and I haven't found one in a while. I mean, like, it wasn't like actually funny. It was just like, wow.
It was our cringe funny.
Our cringe funny. Long story short, a dude was complaining about like a giant bag of cotton bacon being $8 at his shop. So.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other one. Never mind.
Write in chat what you thought I was thinking about. So he says, seems like cotton bacon is just unrolled cotton balls. Please see my album of how I turned a cheap bag of cotton balls into cotton bacon. In any case, cotton bacon fucking lasts you a while. And
yeah.
But it's like essentially, you know, for $8 I can get twice as much cotton. But if $8 is that much money for you, and mind you, there was someone in the thread who was like, I re-wake every day and a bag lasts me a month and a half. Like, $8 is too much for you. Better start working them corners, girl. Like, come on. Get that money. Enjoy your cotton. Like, I'm not fucking swearing by cotton bacon. I do like it. I use it, and actually it's all I use in the Kennedy. I use the Shadow and everything. You want to rag on Shadow, I could infinitely see that point far more than anything else. The cotton bacon. Cotton bacon. Word. Okay.
Mm-mm. It's all right. It's good in a pinch.
Anyway, so last night I was closing down here. I was about to go to bed, and I had the homepage of Twitch open. And, you know, like, for those of you that do watch streams on Twitch and such, you know, like, they'll have like a featured streamer on the homepage, and they'll usually have some kind of overarching ad.
Mm-hmm.
This one was one fucking creepy too. Like, you see here.
What?
Wow.
First of all, if you see here on the right, that is a Shia LaBeouf without all the hair. So here's the thing. This is an anti-cigarette ad, but pay attention closer. Right? Nicotine can reprogram your brain until all you think about is your nicotine. Just, you know.
So that's an anti-nicotine ad.
It is an anti-nicotine ad, but, you know, we're all kind of... We're in the same fucking boat, Sean. Fuck.
What the hell?
Right?
Did you just see it?
You saw Shia LaBeouf on the right? And I guess that's Tyra Banks on the left. Kind of looks like her. But yeah, the USB things in the mouth and...
Really creepy.
It ain't even USB 3.0.
Yeah, right? Actually, I don't know. No, there's no blue there.
No, there isn't. And what kind of USB port is that? They're like, oh, let's put a network port. Oh, wait, no, it's a USB.
I don't know. I can only imagine the fucking ad from...
They did not commit to their port design, that's for sure.
My face, when I see that.
it spins.
Well, still spinning.
Anyway. So yeah, I saw that shit. I was just like, word, Twitch, like, word. It's been a very face palmy week for me.
Mm-hmm.
my last order of business, not as face palmy, and makes me feel a little better about myself in that. Let's go here. So I was shown a mod through. Oh wait, Mass, I don't know if you've even seen this yet. You're gonna love this.
Yeah, you are. Wait, he's got to pull that down so we can get his actual reaction.
All right, let's see.
So there's a new mod coming out from Melody,
Mm-hmm.
or the Melody box, and all the hype around that and such. Well, they've got something new in the works, I think. The fuck?
Black
Try again.
screen.
Can you see my?
Nope, try again.
Maybe.
You know what it is?
Oh,
It's fucking
green. It's green now.
yeah. For some reason, when I try to choose just to share the internet window, it just
Hey, do you want me to show the image?
I got it. I'll just do it. We'll do it live.
Doing it live. Oh yeah, I saw that. You know what it reminds me of?
The dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Well, for
I call this a boner casket.
No, for one, the bottom the boner casket, the bottom of a golf club, and two, for some reason, I just want to pump the one end.
Yeah, looks like a lantern, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's
no, I don't even understand how you comfortably use this. Like, it looks like the most awkwardly retarded.
Wait a minute, Angsty. Wait a minute. Let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
Here's another angle. There's another angle. See, look, it looks like a dude. He's just got a smug look in his face. Like, hey, I'm pointing my dick at you. What you gonna do about that? There you go. That's how you hold it.
so
What is that?
You like cup it to
burn
your mouth.
consistently burn your hand on the dripper.
It's ridiculous. It's like, yeah. And plus, you get this big thing. It's
I know.
ridiculous.
Someone said it looks like a stand for a mech mod and Addy. Yes, it does.
It does.
Here's what happened. So they were out in the shop, and they had this little piece of wood on the ground. And let me tell you, this is how mods are built. And all of a sudden, the dude dropped the fucking 18650 thing, and it landed in the wood mod. That's how kids happen, too, when your wood lands inside of the 18650 hole.
Well, okay, first of all, you see this shit here? Like, what was this?
We're a multi-spoked pronged show.
I
ladies and
honestly
gentlemen.
criticizing poor
And when it
craft.
happens, I just go, "Ooh."
I'm not criticizing craftsmanship. I'm just saying they need to go in there with a fucking toothbrush or something.
Oh, it's a
I don't know.
prototype.
Necessary with how bad that mod is in the first place.
That is a prototype. To be fair, it's going to be a little janky, but it's still the dumbest thing. Now, it's not as much of a golf club as that stupid Sunbox one was.
Yes.
That thing was the ugliest mod I've ever seen in my life.
But the thing is, unfortunately, actually not unfortunately, if you remember when the Melody was first coming around, I said that shit looks like what was it? The Stones? Was it Stones or from Fifth Element?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I have to find something similar to compare this to. I need to browse my.
Did he list the price?
He did not, that I saw.
Because that is something I'm really curious about.
I did not see.
Why do I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be more than a Melody?
I feel like it's also going to be more than $400, which is even funnier to me. Oh, now we can use less materials than ever and less work.
I don't know. All I know is things. It's not practical and it's ugly. Like it's got no positive benefits.
And that's the thing. It's like one thing if it's not practical, but it's like okay, it looks nice. It's
Right.
That brings up the question, though: have we really just exhausted all fucking options?
Apparently.
Yep. When all else fails,
when
just keep taking
when you
shit
can't
off.
when you can't take an existing design and make it better or more functional or better. No, it's just let's just. I couldn't even. You can't even blame this on smoking weed. They're doing something way harder.
Yeah. What was that? So I married an expert. I think it looks like Sputnik. It's all it's all round but quite pointy in places or something.
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. That really made me giggle
I
today.
got a laugh out of that.
Yesterday, I think I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No, I think I'm done. I'm supposed to have my Cape on 5 from Dong Magnum, but that didn't show up.
Boo.
That's all good. He sent it out today.
Oh, good.
Mwah.
What do you have, Mr. Engsful?
So I've been out of Railcracker for a short while, and I've been after them to send me some more, and they did, and they sent me a bottle to replace, because normally I usually get, they've just had 30s in for a long time, so I usually just get 120s and then fill it in their old 120 bottle, which they can't sell anymore because it's not safe for children. But I like the bottle, so I keep refilling it, and I kept asking them for juice because I vape it a lot because I think it evaporates out of my my squonker. So they sent me a big bottle. This is a 120. So if you in our Facebook group, you've already seen this thing. So thank you for my large bottle of Railcracker. I will vape it. This is super cool too. I wonder, did I put a close-ups profile? I think I did. It's like syrup.
Syrup. This is syrup.
Syrup.
Sip.
And that's not even the maple. That's not even.
No, this is just Railcracker. That's right. But they did very kindly send on some samples of some other ones that I actually haven't tried. So I've tried the Blue Line. I've baited that one. And the Maple Stack, which is the one I'm vaping on now, and this one, which is I'm kind of intrigued about. It's Key Ductor.
Oh, so I think that's the key lime. Zach was telling me that that one's been his favorite.
Yeah, he says this one's his favorite. So I'm looking forward to this one. When I rewick a Squonker, I will get into that one. And the other thing that I ordered, and I treated myself because I haven't had any stash in quite some time. I got me a 120 of Lushington. And when I was putting on a shirt for the show, I happened to get the stash shirt. It was on top. I did not pick it.
I wish I could say that about the shirt I'm wearing. It's been long enough I can make that joke now.
You
right?
can definitely make that joke. Do you still have a box of those things?
I still have a full set because I still have a full set of the samples. I kept them because I love the packaging on them. And yeah.
There you go. So Chuck Goodman, I definitely am enjoying the juice. It's tasty. It's the Squonker mating call. It's time to refill.
Squonker mating call.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would have been like.
That's the wrong mating call.
This is the Squonker, like the mod's mating call, not the Squonker person.
I know.
Yeah.
I was grouping them into one.
Just bring them all together. So my billet box got a bit of a facelift this last week. So if you remember, we had a group buy for Poe styled Omen tips, and I got a white one to match my old black one that I've had for a while, which I'm a big fan of. Looks really cool on the Evo. But I also asked him to make a Poe styled opalescent black freaking billet box tip. My mind just went totally blank. The billet box tip, which is really cool. A standoff isn't quite as tall as I thought it would be, but that's okay because it's super comfortable, and I'm really very much enjoying that. I mean, my old integrated tip is great. I've been rocking that old guy for quite some time, but this one's a little more comfortable because it's shaped like your mouth. And this guy also got, after I talked to Josh, and he and William convinced me to buy a black Boro tank. So now I'm all, yeah, trigger warning, Cisco. It's all matchy. But yeah, no. So that looks pretty cool. So the reason why, so I have never really understood. I've really never seen the point of paying, $32 plus shipping from Billet Box just to have a black tank because the white one works fine. It's on the inside. It's not like
well, now you can vape like Bret Hart with that pink battery in there.
I suppose I could. That's true. But William pointed out, and very aptly, now that the Exoset's in here and I'm using this thing daily, if this died, that would be really sad. And rather, if the white tank, if the glass cracked or whatever happened to it, there's no backup, right? Because it's not like you can slap another Addy on this thing. If your tank breaks, you're boned. So I did go ahead and buy another one because I am using it all the time. And why not? So that's cool. That is those two things. The last thing that's actually like news.
Hey, hold on.
What?
I also got one of those tips.
Oh. Well,
it's great. I like it a lot.
Is it
Yeah.
is it a different shape? Because we all know these things are handmade. So
No, it's as far as I can tell, pretty much the same shape.
pretty much the same.
Less than black.
Right
I quite
on.
like it. It's quite nice.
It's comfy, isn't it?
I agree with your statement. It is, however, bigger. It's taller than my other tip because my other tip was from Ricardo, button, and it was a bit shorter. So this tip looks a little bigger on here as opposed to the other one.
I'm measuring now. It's the same as my other one, height-wise.
Yeah, Owen probably does all his tips the same size.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yes. I'll pull out my other tip because it's sitting in this box. Yeah, my other tip is a bit shorter.
Is it?
Yeah, there you go. Can you see?
Miller too?
Yeah.
Yeah, not much.
And probably a little bit thinner, at least at the base. I think the flamed base makes this thing look bigger.
It does make it look bigger, but it's not. It's not on the lip, so to speak.
Yes.
I thought this was kind of interesting, so I figured I'd bring it up, and it's coming up now so that I can share it. Share screen. Application window. So the Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin has basically written to and asked the top regulators at the FDA to basically put a halt on burdensome regulations that are likely to be repealed anyway under El Presidente Cheeto Face. And I think that's kind of an interesting move, mostly because, as we all know, I put the link in chat just so you know. As we all know, when laws get passed, it doesn't, things don't usually get repealed, right? Power only continues to go up, and regulation goes up, not down. So it's kind of a good idea. I think that would be really cool if that was responded to and listened to. I don't think it's going to happen, but hey.
I mean, we've seen the FDA pretty much consistently ignore Senator Johnson over and over and over again anyway. So
absolutely,
and the Royal College of Physicians too.
I don't have. Well, he can excuse that. They're British.
It's true. What do those guys know about science? I don't understand how people can't ignore things that are credible and peer-reviewed and whatever, but it is what it is. So that article I thought was cool, even if it gets ignored. I think it's got at least a nice move. So way to go, Wisconsin and Senator Johnson. I think that's actually all I got. Yep, that's all I got. John?
So I have a facepalm for everybody. I'm going to lead into my facepalm a little bit, though, because tonight, as we've said, we have a top maker coming on the show. And there's a lot of parallels that I think happen between the hobbyist vaping market and knives and tops and spinners and all these different things. But you know what I've never heard anybody ask ever in my life?
Well,
I want one of these things that does everything. And a few weeks ago, we showed an RDA that was a top that could double as a top, which was really fucking stupid.
yes.
Yep.
So I would like to introduce you to the next iteration to combining things that really have no business being combined on that level, and that is the vaping spinner.
Yeah.
That's an eye care with a manufactured 3D printed sleeve that goes over top of it to allow it to be a spinner.
This is
Now
used by-
you can sling juice all over the place.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but you can fucking vape like the Red Ranger now. Fuck.
That's what I want to do. I just want to sit there and with my vape and I want to flick it in my fingers and watch it spin around in circles. And just flick juice everywhere.
Yeah, just sling it. And that's assuming it spins at all, which I assume it has to a little anyway.
Probably a little, but based on my experience of those bearings, probably not well.
Well, and it can't be like evenly weight distributed either.
Dude, those look like fucking Bones red ceramic skate bearings.
Yeah,
Anyone who has skated in chat will probably agree with me, or still skating. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yep.
but so that's probably going to be a thing. A removable sleeve spinner for your vape products. That's a new one. I wonder how long till China starts integrating it into the mods. And then as far as other stuff, cool stuff. So we did a list recently for bell caps for Nardas, which Nardas are kind of difficult to get. Bell caps to talk about bell caps for a minute, it is the opinion of many of the guys here that a setup is almost not, especially like a hobbyist setup, is almost not complete without a bell cap.
It's not complete without a bell cap, with everything with 2 exceptions.
Yeah, it is.
Ubertoot, because I actually really like the top cap on the Ubertoot, the very top cap.
Yes.
And also the freaking,
the billet box.
Oh, well, that's true. But no, I'm trying to think of it's the squape. The squape, because the inside, that E-metal junk on the inside is ugly as shit. Yes, you don't need to see that. So you need to go ahead and hide that away. Everything else looks better with a bell cap.
Yes, and a bell cap pretty much completes it.
Except the Origeny, I thought.
No, I love the Origeny bell cap. I thought it was great.
Me too.
But if you want a bell cap, you go to Christian and Michael Eunice.
Yes.
That's where you get a bell cap. And there's a lot of people who make their versions or whatever, but I for one, am a very strong believer in the Mon bell cap. I like them. I like the work that they do. They're also probably 2 of the best looking guys in France. So you have that going for them too. So anyway, we did a couple Narda. We were going to do 5 special Narda bell caps for us and then 5 for everybody else. And Christian and Michael, being the great guys that they are, decided to extend it. So I don't know how many they ended up doing, but they ended up doing quite a few for anybody in the group who wanted one.
Yeah, a solid dozen anyway.
Which was really cool. But what we got was a little bit special, and it's kind of a throwback to the very beginning of the bell cap for our Narda, which is really cool. And I'm going to see if I can close up here to, oh, that's too dark.
There you go.
There we go. To the fully curved Narda bell cap. I think that is fantastic looking.
I'm still waiting for mine in the post.
Oh,
I love it. I love the Narda bell cap in general, but I love that even more.
Yes.
Is it a little higher than the original one?
No, it's about the same height. It is the same height. I have the original one right here. Hold on.
No, I have mine here.
It's exactly the same height.
Exactly the same height, but it's fully curved instead of.
Oh, there's there's like a little,
Yeah, fully curved instead of hard edges, which I think looks really cool. I think it's super clean, and on anything like this, I just think it comes off looking just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I could not be happier with this. I don't. This is the setup that's probably made me the happiest ever, and this has added to that happiness.
Sure.
From that setup, so very happy about that. And I know Brian got one, who's waiting for his.
Hey, J13 in chat just pulled the trigger on a 0 tolerance knife, and I was going to say that I'm a big fan of the Hinderer. This was my daily carry for a long time. Was my XM18.
Yeah,
big fan of this knife. Good knife. It's ground like a hatchet or something. It's the freaking grind, the blade grind on here. The angle is crazy heavy.
Is that? Which one's that?
The XM18 Hinderer.
I don't think I played with that one.
I don't know. I don't know if we did or not.
But
I like my Crusader.
That thing is pretty fucking serious.
It is serious. It's made for service people, like firemen, police officers, that kind of thing. It's got heavy jumping and heavy tactical stuff for gloves, and you can freaking dig a trench with this thing. It's a foldable fixed blade is what they call it because the damn thing's so stiff. It's a good knife. Anyway, 0 tolerance is supposed to be the same thing.
So do you have any thoughts on the bell cap, Brian? Because you have yours.
Oh, I adore it. I dropped my Narda right before my trip and broke one of my bell caps for my Narda. So that's one of the reasons I reached out to Christian and said, please, would you mind making another run so I can buy another bell cap? And that's when he offered to make these guys for us. And when we were talking about it, Sean and I said, the roundy throwback shape would be awesome, and it did turn out so good. So good. So I was able to take off my stock slam cap and put, one of the bells back on both my Nardas. So I'm happy boy again.
I just threw a link to the bell cap group for anybody who's unfamiliar too. I don't know that I've dealt with many people who are much better than Christian and Michael.
No, nice folks.
So I strongly suggest if you're in the market, they make caps for pretty much everything that you can make a cap for. That's all I have, though, Mast.
Horror's being very negative today. Everything's meh. Foldable fixed blade. Meh.
Adventure.
All right, so let's see. Let me pull up my pictures. Okay, so I had a. Everybody's seen the mannequin challenge videos and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so this is a mannequin challenge video that I saw that someone did at a vape shop. And I thought it was done pretty good. Mind you, the song is a stupid same-ass song, but let's just gonna play it real quick. Check it out. Oh, it bonked at me. Here we go.
Wow. What you said you received. Real proud beat.
God.
You need to talk really loud.
Release the cash, watch it fall slowly. Still trying to get in. For whatever reason.
So, anyways, I thought that was pretty neat.
was.
They had the, my thing was the fucking cotton wasn't moving everywhere, So
I've been doing a mannequin challenge on this show for the last fucking 3 years.
I was gonna say, isn't kind of the point of the mannequin
Me
challenge
too.
not so just to stand perfectly still?
I would ask that Brian mannequin challenge this, please. Stand perfectly still.
So what I'm curious about is why the clouds weren't moving.
Because it's a mannequin challenge. It's not supposed to move, dumbass.
How did you make the
Easy.
paper not move? Was that cotton?
Yeah, you've never seen that? You've
No.
never seen those vaping vines where people stuff like a whole pack of cotton in their mouth and they're like,
Right.
"Whoa," and a cloud comes out, but it's all cotton.
Never.
Part of it may have
No.
been a still frame, I feel like. I don't know.
That was my thought. Did they still frame it? Did they cheat?
I don't think so. I think it was hung.
The vape
somehow.
NATO may have been.
Yeah, the vape made it maybe. Either that or they used pipe cleaners on the inside to get the stuff to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see where my. I think that was all that I had. Let me see. No, Sean, you put something in the notes.
I did.
Let me pull that up. Can you put the link in?
Public housing development stuff. I'll throw the link in.
Yeah,
chat.
can you put the link?
There you go.
That's something that I want to talk about. So, did somebody drop it in the actual Plumes chat?
Not yet.
Side chat.
Okay, go ahead and drop it in there. So, this article broke, I'd say, let's see, December 6th. Tomorrow? Or I guess, no, December 2nd is when it came out. But anyways, it's stating that the U.S. government to ban smoking in all public housing developments except for electronic cigarettes. And just in short, basically it says the Obama administration has issued a final rule banning smoking in all public housing units nationwide, extending a smoke-free environment to nearly 1 million units. The final rule is scheduled to be published here in the Federal Register. This new rule takes effect in 18 months. And basically, we were talking about this, last night, and basically 228,000 public housing developments right now are smoke-free, and the new regulation will basically upsurge that figure up to 940,000 residential units. The ban will affect 2 million citizens, including over 300,000 senior citizens and 760,000 kids living in that 940,000 public houses. So that's huge. That's a lot of people that it's going to affect. How that is going to be enforced, it's yet to be seen.
My guess is based on tariffs if you break the rule.
Yeah.
'Cause you can tell if somebody smoked in the place.
Yeah. Basically, it says the prohibition includes any use of cigars, hookahs, pipes, and cigarettes in all the units, except for e-cigs, which is, very interesting that they're actually going and specifying that.
Well, if you think about it, We've all lived with someone who smoked or what have you, and like smoke, like whether it's hookah smoke or cigarette smoke or cigar smoke, that shit gets on the walls, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
At least with vape, you could just wipe it off.
Just the whole, close quarters of everybody else around you too. I mean, the wall's already pink. We don't need them to be yellow. So, basically this will be taking effect, sometime in 2018. And basically it's, every child, they're saying every child deserves to grow up in a safe, healthy home, free from harmful secondhand cigarette smoke. And they're going to be doing everything they can to do that. Now, we were talking about this last night, and yeah, that's great that you're saying every child is going to grow up in a safe, healthy home, free of secondhand smoke. Well, what about secondhand backhands? Because if people aren't into e-cigs and you take away all their Black and Milds, then they're going to freaking be not happy. So
Somebody's going to get hard.
This is going to be interesting. So A, how they're going to enforce it, and B, nicotine most of the time will calm people down. And if the government on one end is banning all e-cigs across the U.S. and then on the other getting rid of all cigarettes in these urban development areas, I don't know. I just see it for a recipe for disaster. So it's going to be interesting how it plays out. But you heard it here first. So,
yes.
And I think that is it. I think I had, that one.
Black and Milds are great though.
Mooch had a beige 35 amp 2800 mAh battery that only rated at 10 amps. So,
was that the one he got where one was just a straight dud?
This is the K-Dest beige 35 amp. And it says made in K-Dest on it. So we have some people putting their e-juice in their miniature trains, and apparently it works. So you have the smoke coming out of the train. Guess if you want to put your e-juice in there, have at it. And that was about it. I think that's all I had.
All right, so are you ready to go on to our guest?
Yeah.
Sweet. So our guest tonight, I'll introduce him by name, and then you can play his intro song. Mass.
You got it.
Our guest tonight is Rich Stadler from Billet Spin Tops. What's up?
Love it.
Oh, you're here, Brian.
Am I?
Yeah,
Brian is.
You just need to reset your camera.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn it. I forgot that. I have to do that now.
So anyway, Rich, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on our vape show to talk about tops. So I guess first, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, and a little bit about Billet Spin?
Sure. I started Billet Spin. Well, my name is Rich, obviously. I've been machining for, I don't even know, 26, 27 years now. My dad started our company in 1986. Last year, short story, I saw some dice on eBay, and I thought they were bid up to $71, and I thought, $71 for a pair of dice? That's crazy. I can make dice for $71, and so I did that, and I traced the dice back to Kickstarter, and I started this dice campaign, and the dice went pretty well. As the dice were running, the campaign was running, I saw that they were doing tops on Kickstarter too, and I thought that was pretty fascinating, and so I looked into that, and I launched a top campaign after the dice campaign called Billet Spin, and joined a group called Pocket Top Talk, and the business really just kind of took off, and now this is what I do full time, and yeah, it's awesome.
And you have a pretty massive machining set, but before we get, because we're going to talk a lot about machining, but before we go into machining, Do you know offhand how many different top designs you've done? Because you've done quite a few.
Yeah, probably, I don't know, 32 so far.
Jeez.
So was it more when you trace all this stuff back? Was it more, oh look, this is something that we can make money on, or were you actually just interested in the tops and what different designs and people wanted? Or
Yeah, great question. Totally honest with you, it started out as a way for us to, our shop is a job shop, and our dream has always been to make our own product, and I kind of have just that mindset of the entrepreneurial type of mind, and so that's what it started out as. I won't lie to you. And once I started making them, and I got to be part of the community, I honestly just fell in love with the community, the people, and I more and more got into it just for the love of doing it. And granted, if I didn't make any money at it, I wouldn't do it. But there was a transition there, for sure.
So just to give you everybody an idea of the sheer number of tops since 2015, this is kind of all of the tops in chronological order. That's 2015, some special tops, and that's so far 2016 in special tops. And we'll have better pictures of many of them throughout the course. But I mean, that's a lot of very varied tops as well. Like there's a lot of artistry that I think that goes into this stuff. Mm-hmm. Outside of just, I mean, there's obviously a huge subset of machining intelligence to be able to do something intelligently, but there's a lot of artistry I think that goes into this too.
Mm-hmm.
In coming up with these designs. Is there anything that kind of inspires you to them, or?
Yeah, my brain just never shuts off. I'm always looking at stuff everywhere I go. It drives my wife's crazy. We were in Hardee's one time, and they had this plaque statue thing, and I was just standing there looking at this thing, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I see a pattern in there that I could utilize for tops, and so I just get inspiration from everything. Yeah, it's been crazy. Brake rotors was one. A compass was another one. It's just things. It's not even necessarily actual things. It's just shapes or patterns, repetitive patterns that you see that can just be turned into a top. And so, yeah, I get inspiration from everything.
Do you want to pull up some pictures of tops, Mast?
Yep, you got it. Just as he's talking, if you want to stay focused on me, I'll just be cycling through them. So,
and then, so kind of another cool aspect is you do a run, one top, and then you never make that again. It's a completely new design every time, right?
Yeah, that's correct. You know what that does is it does two things. It makes it so that China can't copy me. I think if I had a long running design, they would be able to copy that. And then the second thing it does is it acts as a collectability, because I do care about the customers and I want them to be able to buy a top, keep the top for a year or two. If they have to sell it, they can, and it'll hold its value, or they can even make money on it. And by keeping that collectible and just discontinuing the run, that seems to allow that to happen.
Well, especially
Sean, here we go.
You do bigger runs than most makers.
Yeah.
You do some pretty. You were, and I think I said this to you offline, but you are kind of a bridge between what we would call the boutique maker and the much more accessible ones, where you make a very boutique product, but you make a lot of them.
Yeah.
And
I'm going through them now, Sean.
Yeah, I'm on you, and I think
Okay.
we'll kind of see how that's possible for you once we get the pictures of your shop in a little bit.
Oh, that
Yeah.
It's an impressive shop.
Yeah, dude, this is crazy.
So that was a really early one, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that was actually part of the original billet spin. That was a Rainbow PVD Pro we did with the ball. If you look at how the ball is set, it's a prong setting, like a jewelry setting, and how that actually started out. That's a good example right there, because I was in one of them stores, and they had it was an eagle, and in its talons it was holding like a globe.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I'm like, that's really cool. So I tried to make this really cool talon setting, and it didn't work for crap. And so I ended up with that, but I still think that's pretty cool. So,
did you insert it from the top, like from the stem?
yeah, it comes in. it actually pops in, so the prongs are bored around past center, and then it just the prongs open up slightly, and when you put the ball in, it just snaps right in, holds it in. Yeah,
that's a lot of fun. And you talk about like an eagle with like a sphere, and it's. I think I saw one of those in Spencer's like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
That one, the one that we're on right now, particularly, it was a big top because one, I think it's your most expensive top.
Yeah.
It's also a big collaboration with another metalworker / artist.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
that top right there gave me nightmares.
Do you want to chat about that top specifically a little bit?
Sure.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, that top was a collaboration between myself and Chris Bathgate. If you guys haven't heard of Chris Bathgate, Google him, and he's the only guy I know of that does CNC sculptures, totally non-functional art where we would be classified as functional art. And Chris's stuff is just absolutely amazing. He had done a blog where he had actually mentioned billet spin, and I was flattered by that. I've never met the guy, never talked to him, and so he did that. So I emailed him and I said, hey, I just want to say thanks for doing that. And he's like, hey, we started chatting. He's like, I'd love to do a collaboration. And but the thing is with him is the stuff that, there you go. I mean, that stuff is just crazy.
I'll pull up some of his. So this is what that top was kind of from.
Yep. Yeah, he made the sculpture, and then we did the tops, and then he's actually doing a show in a museum in Baltimore where he's going to showcase both of those, and hopefully I can go out there and fly out there and do the show with him, or just watch it happen. But
his stuff is also insane. Like stuff like that. It's nuts.
And that worried me because I told him, we got to be able to keep the prices down because we have to make it affordable, and so I kind of gave him a price range. And so it took he started designing right away, and that is 100% his design. I gave him suggestions and stuff, but that's all his design. And it was very complicated. It took forever to make. That top was $900. So for those of you that are not in the tops, you're probably passed out right now on the floor. But $900. But
so do any of those parts move, or is it all solid?
It's all solid. Yeah.
Wow, because it looks like it would like have a counterweight or something and spin up or down while it was spinning.
It just actually has the same thing. It looks like
ready to move.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a genius design.
That one is a bunch of pieces, isn't it? It's
5 pieces. Yeah, 5 and then 6 if you count the ball.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next one.
Before people go, 900. I mean, that's very uncommon. You're pretty reasonable, and you sit roughly in kind of it seems to be like $90 to $200 range for stuff.
Yeah, 75 to about 250 is average. And we'll get into the cost thing probably later on, but
Absolutely.
That top right there, believe it or not, that $900 top was one of the lowest margin tops that I've done. And we'll talk about that later. I can explain why that is, but a lot of machining on that one.
So go ahead and pop through a few and rings as well now.
Yep, just started on rings.
So, and we talked about this a little bit the other day too, but you had said coming from, because your shop does more than just billet spin.
Yep.
Your shop does other stuff, but you said that billet spin has actually, or doing billet spin and doing tops has actually kind of allowed you to stay profitable and keep expanding your business. Yeah.
This year, the economy for us, our big markets are agriculture, oil and gas, military, and then we do, one of our biggest customer does fluid film bearings. And if you're just like a metal geek like me, Google fluid film bearings, and it's just fascinating stuff. But all 4 of those are terribly slow right now. And so we brought billet spin into our main company in January of this year. And to be honest with you, billet spin would now be classified as our biggest customer. And it's allowed me to keep the employees that we have. We've had a small layoff, but it would be much more drastic if it wasn't for billet spin.
This reminds me of one of the Tremor Graboids' mouths.
I was going to say it looks like a sarlacc.
Yeah, that
That's
too.
what everybody said, sarlacc. But it actually was the Kraken. I designed it after the Kraken from Pirates of the Caribbean right before it ate Jack Sparrow.
I can see that. I just watched that movie the other night.
That's cool.
I haven't
That was
seen
the
it.
biggest production run of any top we've done. That one that you just had up.
The skull, I'll
this
call
one?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about last night. I think you said that you liked anything that looks like it could hurt you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you get done spinning all night and you haven't gotten hurt, it was a good night of spinning, you know. So.
So as far as just designs and what you guys are doing for Billet Spin, and just the sheer amount of stuff, and you want to talk a little bit about materials, because you use some pretty cool materials.
Like who was just in that last one, or you hear the
Damascus, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it started out where I wouldn't use exotics. So the exotics would be like your Damascus, your Timascus, your superconductor. I really wanted to showcase the machining, and I really just wanted to ease my way into the exotics. And it started this year, probably when I did the Navigator. That was about April. And I started slowly working with the exotics, and now we work with almost all of them. But yeah, the material prices are insane. If you look at that bottom right one right there, that's Timascus. That stuff's, you're talking 120 bucks an inch for the material. So of like 1 inch material or, inch and a quarter. So very pricey, hard to work with, but a lot of fun in the look of it. When you finish it, is just amazing.
So I'm going to go to this guy right here, which was a one-off that you did for somebody.
Yeah.
Let's go through these pictures, and you can talk about it a little bit, because this might be your most complicated piece, I think.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So a guy by the name of Jim Skelton, long story on our relationship, but basically that guy has helped me out in so many different ways, and I wanted to do something nice for him, and I was kind of, you kind of just get bored with what you're doing, and so I said, hey, let's do something crazy. And so I contacted Jim, and Jim is like me. He likes the crazy things that could hurt you while you're spinning it. And so anyway, so we came up with that design, and it's called the Wraith, and that one is 27 pieces, 27 individual pieces with tritium, Timascus, Damascus. Every piece on there I made except for the tritium tubes and the ball. It took me, I have in cost of that one top, I have $6,000 of cost. If we were to cost that out as a business, $6,000, and I would never obviously charge anybody that much for a top, but that was a gift from my buddy Jim. And I actually made two because I was terrified of junking the thing out on the final steps, which I did, by the way. A funny story. And so I had two, and he's got the good one, and then the one I have is is the junk one, but people can come in and see it at least. And but yeah, that was a lot of work right there.
Oh, and I mean that thing, the piece is crazy, like it's insane.
Yeah.
It looks like Bowser would use it.
Yeah. But when you get into sculpture art or something, and bear in mind that this is a very small piece too. It's 1 1/4 diameter or so.
Yeah.
So that's a lot to put into a very small thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a crazy piece. So we have a few pictures. If you want to start running through the pictures of the machine shop, Mass, because you just brought up, check that out, and that's a kind of fun way to take the conversation.
$1,000.
There we go.
Kind of taking a look at your shop and how you might spec out this stuff. So do you want to walk people through your shop a little bit here?
Sure, absolutely. Like I say, my dad started the place in 1986, and we started in a little garage, and then we built this shop, and after about 7 years, we expanded it to the size that it is right now. That picture up right now?
It should be.
If you click on Mass Picture, you'll see it.
Okay.
Down at the bottom right, yeah.
Okay, so that machine right there, that's called a multiplex. That's if you look on the very top, there's a gantry. That's a robot that loads, and there's actually two machines, one on each side where the door is there. And so there's a gantry, an automatic hand that comes down, loads the parts. The first machine makes the first end, then they transfer together, makes the second end, then the robot hand takes it out and puts it back over on a tray. This is obviously not a machine we use for tops. This is for our standard production line. But we have a part that we make for a John Deere transmission in one of the tractors, and we do about 3,000 parts a month. Very, very, very complex part. And yeah, we just do thousands and thousands and thousands.
So are you comfortable? Are you comfortable if I ask pricing on the machines as you talk about them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that machine, you know, when I price machines, I talk about, see, you can buy, machines are like cars. You can get them the base model, and then you start adding options, and you can add $100,000. Like this machine, you could easily add $100,000 in options. So, and then you have to get it to your shop. This machine in particular, we had to cut out, we have 8-inch concrete. We had to cut that all out. What's that?
Yeah. I was just going to ask how thick the concrete was.
Yeah, 18 inches, or maybe it's 24 on this one. I think it's 24 inches deep concrete all the way around it. And so there's a lot of cost there. So we have about 500 grand into getting that machine on our floor.
Are you, where are you guys located? I mean, I'm not necessarily the shop, but where, state?
Wisconsin.
Where are you at? Wisconsin. Yeah. Okay. So do you have to worry about temperatures and stuff like that with the ground, with the concrete? Okay.
No, that's not an issue at all. It's all on the same piece. The concrete, that machine is all on one piece of concrete. So, yeah, and because there's actually 3 separate machines in there. That's the only machine that we did that to, because getting all those to stay lined up. The machine moves extremely fast, and you can actually, a machine like that one is probably about 24,000 pounds, and that machine, if you don't bolt it to the floor, it'll actually move right across the ground as it moves and stops. So that one, we bolt it down, and keeping them all lined up is really critical. So.
Wow. All right, going on the next one. I don't know if you saw this one. I had this one up. Did you see this one during?
No. So this is this is about 3/4 of the shop right here. And if you look at this bottom machine, the one that says Mazak right in front of you, that's the machine we do most of the tops on. Yeah, that guy right there. And that's called a Mazak Integrex I-200. It's a full 5-axis machine. So for those who don't know, like a drill press would be like a single axle. You know, you pull the handle and the quill comes down. That'd be 1 axis. Then like a Bridgeport would have 3 axis. It's got the quill that comes down. It's got the X, Y, and Z. So the quill and the Z would be about the same. So that would be a 3-axis. This is a full 5-axis machine, and all 5 of those axes can move at the same time. So a machine like that, that's about 400 grand just for that one. and so here's the thing, like, you know, that we have 5 machines that we use for tops, 4 mainly, and then we have another one on the side that we use. And sometimes we'll have all of them running at the exact same time. So you can imagine the cost per hour that you have to
Yeah, and that was something that was really interesting, because to people who don't know anything about machining, when you machine stuff, it's not just a number that a guy pulls out of his ass and says, "Oh, I'm going to make a bunch of money on this top." Yeah. You have to take. Do you want to talk, because you can probably sum up your cost per hour analysis better than I can.
Yeah, when you factor in cost, labor is separate from your overhead. But yeah, your overhead basically couples everything. Your depreciation of your machines, your electrical, your health insurance, your 401k, your wages. Well, not that your wages is separate, but so yeah, when you're talking, you know, we have 19 CNCs there with an average cost of probably $200,000, and then, you know, if you look, all those machines are the same color. That means that all those are basically pretty new. And so, like this Integrex, this will really blow your mind, but that Integrex right there that we pay $400,000 for, after about 8 years, we have to replace that. We start having problems with them, and so you buy another one. And so all those machines you see, if you'd have seen a picture of this, you know, 5 years ago, it looked completely different. So there's a lot of upkeep, maintenance. So yeah, the cost per hour that we have to charge in order to pay for all that is a lot.
So somebody in chat did ask, why is there cost using it once you've bought the machine?
As far as, so when you cost a machine, it's not, you'd have to look up depreciation and how it works, and there's laws on depreciation, and that's how you actually cost out a machine. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of. You
can ask your accountant about it. I work for accountants, so trust me, I know depreciation on machines.
Well,
Well, and you
there's
also have to make
ongoing
back
variable
the
costs too, right? There's tooling, there's all kinds of other stuff.
You have to make back the investment on the machine too, obviously.
Yeah. Our shop probably has about $1 million in tooling in it right now, and I would say that revolves about every, probably 9 months. We revolve all that tooling. So
do you ever get to sell any of the machines after you've used them and recoup any of the money back, or no?
Yeah, you do. We trade them in for the most part. I don't like selling stuff. It's too much hassle. See, the problem is when you buy a new machine and you sell one, you want the riggers to be there the same day. When you have these guys with these huge forklifts come in, they have an enormous cost per hour. So you want to take the old machine out, put it on a truck, have the new machine there, coordinate that all in the same day or two, because you can add a ton to the bottom line there as far as machine costs. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. And I got another picture up. This is the Matrix Nexus 2 is up here. Yeah,
this is the machine that we just got this year earlier, and this is what we use mostly for our stems. We made some fidget balls and tri balls for the guys that are familiar with the group on this machine, but we need one more of these. I'm a little short. You'll see, I think I got another picture of it, but when you see it says Quick Turn Universal, if you could go back to that one real quick.
Yep.
And then we'll compare those two. So if you look on the door, it says Quick Turn Universal 200 MY. This is kind of a standard among CNC machines. When you see an M, that means it has milling on it. So that is a lathe that has live tooling or milling capability. And then the Y means that it has Y-axis. And no matter what brand of machine you buy, you'll see that MY, there'll be an S for a subspindle. But that's pretty typical. So now if you go to the next picture, it's the same. See, it's a Quick Turn Universal. It's a 250, so it's a little bit bigger machine, but it doesn't have the MY. So this machine is just a standard. Right there, you can actually, if you go back to where you can see the axis selector, and it's just the X and a Z right next to that round black handle over there. But there's an X and a Z, and then there's a W. The W is just for the tailstock. But that just tells you that that's a 2-axis machine. That's a basic lathe. It's got the same movement as like a regular manual lathe would have. And so this machine, I'm limited because I can't do milling on it. And I really would like to upgrade this one to the same machine as the previous picture. Yeah, this is kind of the other part of the shop that you couldn't see from the original overhead picture. On the top of the picture up there, you got a couple bar feeders. And what that means is that you cut a bar that's 3 to 4 foot long and you load it in the back. You can see a slot with there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little tracks going up there. You roll the bars down in there, and then that part of the machine loads the bar into the machine. And then let's say you got a 3 foot long bar and each part is 1 inch long. You get 35 parts. You got to have something to hold on to for that last part. So it just makes a part, cuts it off, feeds out the next one, makes the part, cuts it off. When the bar is done, it loads a new part into the machine, and it just keeps going. So we have 2 machines that are identical up there, and we have one guy that just runs those 2 because they're fully automatic.
I did link the Indiegogo campaign for the spheres as well.
Oh,
anybody who might be interested, because that's something that's active that you guys have going on, and they're quite cool. I ordered 2 of them last night.
If you can go back to that previous picture.
Yep.
Just another thing that just kind of tells you, if you look on the top right, you'll see a bunch of blue cabinets over there. Those are listed cabinets, and that's just to organize the shop. We want to keep the operators running, and so right there. And each one of those cabinets is about $2,800, and then inside each one of those, there might be 50 grand worth of tooling. So I'm not saying that to say, hey, we got a buttload of tooling. I'm just saying it's expensive to
running costs.
Yeah, exactly, right.
All right, go to the next one.
This one is back to that original 5-axis Integrex. I think we cycled through all of them here.
Yep, that's all of them. And then we still have a few more tops.
So, from a perspective of setting a price for something like a top, and to kind of pull this together for stuff that maybe not guys who are into tops will get, but guys who are into vaping. Machining prices and cost of machining is pretty standard across the board for a lot of guys. So you're going to see, potentially similar hardware. You're going to see very similar cost to machine something if you want to do it here in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why I thought this would be really beneficial to everybody.
Yeah. Basically, I can tell you for us, and all shops cost differently. It's really hard. Here's what you have at the end of every job that we have. It's got this packet, and it has all the instructions on what to do, and then we track the job and all the costs that go along with it. Our goal is at the end of the year, we can cost all the jobs on paper, and then we can actually look at our P&L statement, and if those two line up, that means that we're charging the right amount per hour. And that varies depending on how many hours you get, direct hours, indirect hours that your employees totally work. And so that varies. So basically, if your overhead stays roughly the same and you're slow on work, you have to charge more per hour, which is counterintuitive. You have to charge more per hour in order to break even. And so, so there's a whole game that you play when you start slowing down. But basically, we try to divvy it out into simple operations like our saws, our deburring. We have a certain burden rate per hour that we charge. And then you get up into like a 2-axis lathe. We have a different burden rate. You get in all the way up to a 5-axis lathe. Not many shops our size have 5-axis machines like that because of the cost. And so the cost per hour on those is drastically higher. You can get up to $150 an hour, depending on who's running when you include labor in there. So yeah, $150 an hour. Stuff can cost a lot of money real quick.
Yeah, I can see that. And I mean,
Sean, I also have some of the videos ready
sure.
too.
Well, before we do that, that's also not to mention material costs, right? Because we were talking, and people are kind of hung up on the spheres.
Yeah.
We were talking about spheres last night, and the cost of your superconductor, a 1-inch by 1-inch basically piece of superconductor.
Right.
Is a material.
Yeah, there's a perfect example. So let's, normally I don't break stuff down quite this much, but I will for this one. So the superconductor, you can figure it's about $100 an inch. It's an inch ball, okay? And then you have throwaway at the end of the bar, so you don't use it all up. And then your cutoff tool that you have to cut the sphere off with, that has a width, so you lose that. And then you have to have stock to face off on the second side. So you're using about 1.14 inches per ball of material, and then you have to have about 5/8 of an inch to hold on to at the end of the bar. And then those bars only come in 1 foot lengths. So that's a lot of bars that you throw away that last 5/8 of an inch. So that sphere on Indiegogo is $140. We have, say, $110 into the cost of it. Then you have to run it on a lathe. You have 2 different operations. You have the setup for the whole thing. You have polishing in there. And so, yeah, $30 on a CNC on 2 operations with setup, $30 is nothing, And so, yeah, at $140, we're not making much money. So a guy would look at that sphere and say, "Are you rich? Are you out of your mind?" And that's why I love stuff like this, because I can educate people and say, yeah, if all I did was make those spheres, it would be pretty tough. But yeah,
you should show one of the Billiton balls.
Yes, I will pull up the image, because somebody specifically asked what superconductor is.
Superconductor, and it's something you kind of gotta see.
Yeah, it's copper with niobium rods running through it.
So that is superconductor right there. I mean, it's really cool. And when you start to get in, because you do very similar with tops. You have your base copper, brass, stainless steel, titanium, tungsten, and then you get into and Damascus and superconductor and Damascus, and the materials for this kind of stuff are really expensive.
Is the superconductor, is that just made specifically for like the use that you're using, or is this used for something else in other fields, or what? Like I'm sure it comes with bar stock, right?
Yeah, they turn it into wire.
Okay.
It's a fascinating read, but what they do is they put it starts out as a big chunk, and they put the niobium rods in there, and then they draw it down. It's like when you put dough, I know you got your old bakers. When you put the dough down and then you roll it out, and it keeps getting thinner and bigger and bigger. That's what they do. They draw it down farther and farther, and then when we get this stuff in, they just stop it before they draw it all the way down into wire. So,
So I'm assuming the difference between Damascus and Damascus is titanium.
Titanium Damascus, yep.
Okay, so I don't remember. I'm sure one you explained to me at one point. What gives it the Damascus?
Good question. I know that it originated like in Japan, sword making and stuff. They use that, but it's basically just a folded forged material, and it's 2 different grades. So when you see Damascus, like the Damascus spheres, there, that's 2 different grades of stainless steel that we use, and it's forged together in these patterns. And when we machine it, it looks like a silver ball of stainless steel. You can't tell that there's a pattern there. And then we put it in battery acid, and the battery acid eats away at one of those grades, but not the other. And then that pattern emerges, and then we neutralize the acid and put a little rust preventative on it.
That's cool. That explains the basket weave pattern. That basket weave looks dope.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So I have a basket weave, and I'll zoom up here because I have a basket weave top from you.
Nice.
I have the basket weave rotor, which is
the rotor.
It's a really cool basket weave pattern throughout that top.
Are you potato as hell, or is it just me?
Yeah, no, he's potato as hell.
Am I? I'm not for me.
Turn off your torrents.
I don't have any on. I don't do that shit.
It just looks like gray matte.
Turn off your Plex.
I've got a twist one here. I don't know if you can see it. That looks any better?
A bit.
Yeah.
It does. But while we're talking, I will pull up. I have a picture of my rotor. It's the one that I posted in the group, actually, of the rotor that I can share here.
Every time you say that, I think he's going to whip out the rotor for his car and just show it up on the screen.
That's what it's made after, is the rotor, the brake rotors in a car.
So let's upload this really quick, and then I can show a better picture. And then everybody can be happy because it won't be all goofy.
Potato.
Or hangouty, so to speak.
Hangouty is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I thought, I think it's really interesting when you find out like what really goes into this stuff and how much. Because, people tend to have this focus on a raw material and a raw material cost only, not thinking about, tooling breaks. Every time you cut into something, it chips away at the tooling, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that all has to be replaced. The machines are unbelievably expensive. That is the basket weave Damascus. That's a much better picture. And that's a Moku bottom on a Navigator. Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing, too, that people probably don't realize when it comes into the costing is setup time. So, you have a machine that's $150 an hour with a guy standing next to it. And to set up, like the top that I just showed you, the Trident there, that might take me 4 hours to set up. And so, let's say, we get guys that come in, they want, one piece, and it might take me 3 hours to set it up for that job. That's $450. We haven't even made anything yet. That's just setting up the machine. It takes a lot to set up a 5-axis machine or any of them. I mean, it's not really fast. I mean, if a 1 hour setup is really quick. If you have a new part, if you can set it up on a basic 2-axis lathe in an hour. So the more parts you order, the more you can divide that cost out, the setup cost in each of those parts. And that's why people ask me all the time, you want to make custom? And I'm like, yeah, it'll cost you about $4,000 because I got all the setup costs I got to pay for, and that's why I don't do customs. The cost per hour on setups is just ridiculous, Right. So
that's what we were joking yesterday when we met the first time, and we're like, something that looks simple. You're like, hey, can you make some of these? What were you using it for an example? Like some rods for a tractor or something. You're like, This guy was like, hey, one of your buddies was like, hey, these are like $30 at the store. Can you bang out a couple of these for me?
Yeah. We get that a lot. Yeah, guys come in, hey, friends of ours, hey, can you make one of these for us? Can you make one of these for us? And in that example, I asked the guy, I'm like, how much are they at the store? And he says $30. I'm like, I'll go to the store and buy them. I'd rather do that than spend all the time making them, and they would cost you a whole lot more than $30 if we actually charged you what it actually costed us. So,
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, too, every business has to turn a profit. That's how you
Mhm.
stay in business.
Yeah.
That's how you have a business.
Yeah.
So you make small things here in the U.S. and the same parallel exists in vaping. Right? We have our more boutique stuff that's handmade and takes some time, and then we have stuff that you can get mass produced really cheap. And I think that exists in every market.
Yeah.
I, for one, am a lover of boutique things. I like stuff that's made here and made by people that I can talk to and see their face and know who they are, and employ people for that matter, because you guys employ quite a few people.
Yeah. Yeah, we had up to 49 at one point. We're down to about 24 now. I'll give you one more thing, and normally I don't share this kind of stuff, but we had our financials for September. It was the month of September. We had a slow month. So our business, we lost $73,000 in 1 month. So it's just, I just want people, the real benefit for me on this show is to really try to educate people on what this stuff costs. If you think that, guys that are doing this are making money hand over fist, I assure you they're not. And so, I mean, obviously if we don't make money, we wouldn't do it. But job shop margins, standard job shop margins, if you can make 10% on the job in job shop margins, you are loving it. If you can clear 10% at the end of the year, oh my goodness. But you got to realize how much risk goes involved. I mean, 10%, you can make that in the stock market, but yet, business owners, they start businesses, they create jobs, and so it's a good thing, but it's a tough market. And so the margins are slightly better, with the tops overall, some better than others, but it's still tight. It's still tough, so.
Sure. I'm sure. And tops especially, it's kind of an ever-demanding, ever-changing thing. Like you have to kind of anticipate what you might make on something to know if it's worth taking that cost in.
Yeah. Yeah, and I try to listen to the group. I tried, as you pointed out, I try to vary the designs a lot. We went from a $900 top down to a $75 top, and we do 1-piece tops, 2-piece tops, and 3-piece tops, and we kind of do a rotation, trying to keep everybody happy. That is an impossible task, but I try to do my best and give a little something for everybody. But yeah, you really got to stay on top of things, and with the social media groups and everything, it's definitely a full-time job.
Sure. I feel like we should talk a little bit about Kickstarter and Indiegogo, because you've leveraged them pretty heavily with your billet spin stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is that a way to just pre-fund your products as you make them, or just to fill out demand, or what was the reasoning behind doing that versus just putting them on your website or whatever?
Sure. That is a great question. I get that question all the time from guys. Here's the deal. Marketing is used to be one of your biggest costs. And I think it's probably easier right now to come up with a product and launch a product than ever before, because what Kickstarter and Indiegogo do is they allow you to market test for free. They actually pay you to market test. So you can put your idea out there, people can subscribe to it, they can pre-order, and you can have the funds to to go forward with it. In a job shop environment, we get an order from a customer, okay? And so they send us a part to quote, we quote it, and then they say, okay, we want you to make 100 of these. So we get the job, we set it up, we order all the material, we have we make it. There's a ton of cost that's involved there. And then after we ship the parts, we don't get paid for 30 to 60 days. In the Indiegogo, it's the exact opposite. You pre-order, you get paid before you have to shell out any money for anything if you want. Now, we're big enough now where I can pre-order the material and stuff, and so normally my shipment is faster than most. But Indiegogo is a way for me to market to a whole nother group of people that might not have been into tops or ever found it. It's like free advertising for me, and so why not do it? The biggest thing that I focus on as far as the top market for me, for billet spin, I'm just talking for myself, is I look at how many people come into our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is where the majority of our buyers are, and I wouldn't say the majority of our followers, but the majority of our buyers. And so I look at how many new people we get per day, and that's huge to me. And so, because it's a revolving market, and so I want to make sure that we're getting a lot of people in. No pun intended, right?
Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you were being funny.
But anyways, so yeah, Indiegogos and Kickstarter are a way for me to reach. There's millions of people that get on those websites, and so it's a way for me to reach them, and I can still sell product, and I don't have to pay for it. You do because there's cost, but it's insignificant than if you were to go through like a wholesaler retailer kind of a thing. So it's a very good outlet for us.
And you get to keep costs cheaper because it's direct from you rather than having to have a wholesale price to a retailer. But I will say, to your credit with Kickstarter and Indiegogo, because I've followed several of your campaigns, you genuinely tend to have at least one unit of every material made, pictures taken of that, meaning all the fittings are pretty much already done. It's just a matter of basically taking the orders and making them and shipping them for you.
Yeah. There's a system to it.
Up like blueprints and say, I want to make this. Fund me.
Yeah. That's one of the benefits of having a shop like we do and stuff is we can, we can just make the prototypes right there and see. And, you look at the spheres. I didn't know how big of a hit that was going to be. I think they're cool as heck, but, you don't know. And I don't fall in love with ideas. And so I said, hey, let's just kind of put it out there and see. And it's done pretty well, I think, for what it is. But yeah, it's, we have a video guy. We got a graphic artist. I have a writer. And so we kind of get together and so I think we've got putting the pages together down to a science, and I love the videos that my video guy does, and so yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, do we have any other good questions, or do you have any other machining stuff before we get into contest stuff?
Well, were we going to show the video?
Oh yeah, we have some. I forgot we do have 2 videos of the milling process, which I think would be really cool. And you're welcome to kind of talk about how these machines work as we play them too, Rich.
Okay. All right, here comes the first one. This is the Lotus being machined.
I think both of these are Lotus ones.
Yeah, so that's the Lotus being machined, the pattern. Yeah, I wish I had a picture of what that's actually doing, but it's this rotating geometric shape that it does, and one of the few times I can run it dry without coolant where you can really see the machining happen there. But that's on our 5-axis Intergrex. That's the most expensive machine.
God, that thing moves so fast.
Yeah.
It's through like butter.
There, you want a good story? So this machine right here, when we were making the Lotus, my operator made a simple mistake. He ended up smashing up that head. It was $72,000 to fix it. $72,000 because he put in one wrong number. So,
did the top mash into the collet?
So it was the cutoff tool. The jaws were spinning. The chuck was spinning at about 2,500 RPM. The head was vertical, so it's horizontal right now. The head, it can rotate at any angle. And it was vertical, and the whole head ran right into the jaws as it was running 2,000 RPM. And it was catastrophic. I was literally standing about 8 feet from it, and the whole floor shook. The people in the office, they came running out because the whole floor shook in the office, and that's like 50 feet away. And they knew something was wrong.
So Rich, did you kick him in the balls? That's what I want to know.
He's me and him are tight, and I looked at him, and I swear he was about to vomit, and I was about to vomit too, believe me. And so I looked inside the machine. There was just oil just pouring out of it. That whole head, is like I don't know, 6,000 pounds or something like that, and the whole head was barely hanging there by. The bolts had stretched. I mean, it was so much damage. And I just shut the door and said, oh my gosh.
Time for a cigarette.
I'm sure, oh my gosh is exactly what he said.
But for anybody who wants to see what the Lotus looks like finished, there's a picture of the top that you just saw getting milled.
Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah.
And now the next one that we have is the stem being done.
I adore watching videos of things being machined.
Isn't it awesome?
Like
I can sit there and watch it all day.
Yeah.
So there's the head vertical. So that's the same machine. The head's vertical now instead of being horizontal. And that's a ball end mill, which has got a full radius on the bottom of it, and that's cutting the grip. So you're using the Z-axis and the C-axis there, and that's a milling operation instead of a lathe operation. The Integrex has got a full lathe and a full mill all in one, and it's used as a mill right now.
We have a question in chat, Rich. Is there a YouTube channel specifically for your shop?
Yeah, well, for billet spin there is, not for the main company, but for billet spin, yes.
Will they find it? They just YouTube search for billet spin?
I'm gonna link it here in a second.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wait! We can't. We don't want to miss
just
this.
change tools? Is that what just happened?
Yeah. Here we
It
go.
was changing tools. This back to the original, the first part now.
There we go. I backed it up just a little bit so people could see it.
Yeah, there it goes horizontal, and there it's doing a tool change, yeah. So inside that door over there, there's 36 tools, and that's a starter drill right now, so you can see it tipped on an angle, and now it's going to do the dots that you see in the picture. But because that head can tip on any angle, and then the thing is it can actually mill while that head tips. So
That's
the head,
nuts.
yeah, it can be stationary or it can mill. If you are interested in this stuff, if you YouTube Mazak Integrex I series, you'll see videos where the head rotates and mills at the same time.
That's so cool.
That is so cool.
Pretty gnarly.
It takes a long time. I'll give you another one too. I like talking. If you guys are tired of hearing me talking, just tell me shut up. But
Oh, I mean,
so that machine right there, trying to find people that can run something like that. We have staffing companies that come in, and this guy came in, I don't know, it was probably a year and a half ago. And, you know, these staffing companies hit us pretty hard. They're always trying to get in there because they make a ton of money on getting us people. And so I told him, I says, I need a plug-and-play guy for this 5-axis machine. The difference between us, for those watching that are familiar with machining, we don't use CAD CAM. We program right on the machine. So you'd need a specific skill set in order to run at our shop on those machines. And there's a reason why we do things the way we do. But anyway, so I told him, I said, I need a plug-and-play guy that can do this. And so basically, when we talked about the cost per hour and all this, we were going to have to pay this staffing company $15,000 to get me a guy, to buy that guy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you find me the guy, I'll hire him, it's a done deal. A year and a half later, they still haven't found us anybody, and they're going to get 15 grand from us. So finding people qualified to run a machine like that, you know, even guys that pile up $72,000 worth, you know, they're tough to find, and so that's another big problem with.
What's a typical machinist that has that kind of experience? What's price range for pay? You know, like what do you usually get paid?
Wage guys, for wage, yeah. So that machine would be our top echelon guy. He'd be close to $30 an hour or something like that.
Wow,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, machining is a good career. There's machine shops all over the country, so you can pretty much go, if you're good at it, you can go wherever you want.
I mean, obviously you've seen this. So this is kind of a rhetorical question, but are you seeing that there are less and less people interested in hands-on operation of stuff than, you know, just sitting behind a keyboard and a mouse?
Yeah, I'll give you a story that sums it up. I had a kid come in. He was probably 20 years old, you know, enough out of school where he should know better. He came in, you know, we kind of start people out at the bottom and just see how they do, and then we put them wherever we think we can get the most potential out of them. Yeah. He worked at our place for about 2 days, and he came in, and he was very respectful, and he said, you know, this just isn't for me. And I said, really, I'm kind of curious, what is for you? And he said, well, I want to work in an office making 60 grand a year. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's just, that's what they think. These kids that come out of school and they don't have any other education, they just think that's what exists because they watch MTV, and that's what they think is out there. You know?
And you know, I think that I just think back to the, you know, just to process like what you're, you know, like you said, your brain never stops and you're always thinking about new ideas and designs and stuff like that. I think that's part of the mind of a machinist, that you're there from years of experience of doing that, because that's how your brain has been molded to work since you were a kid, right? So, and I think that if people don't go through, you know, going through shop class, going through you know, doing hands-on stuff, you know, through early in life, and then having to think for yourself about the problems that you have, I think that opens up later on to say, well, okay, so this top is doing this. What if we redesign it and do some other things, or you know what I'm saying? Like you get that engineer mindset of let's switch this. Where to me it's like nowadays it's well, here's the line, and this is the line that you can make a $60,000 to $100,000 in. Let's just follow this line and do this like a drone. And I mean, I understand that not everyone has a job, and getting experience and all that is hard, and you got to do what you got to do. But man, what I would give to have a shop like yours down here, because that to me would be like my second part-time job.
Yes.
And I would start at sweeping the floors.
There you go.
To be honest, I would continue doing my job, and on the weekends or whatever, I would go in there and I would pretty much, work for free, work for being able to not play, but learn about one of the machines.
I completely agree.
Because that kind of knowledge to me is like just, hey, I took. I didn't have a lot of money to spend on a CNC when I got started doing box mods, because 4 or 5 years ago, shit was, it's still expensive, but there was nothing that was small. And I found a guy who made a kit, and I built my own CNC and got all that working. Now I can't do huge pieces of stainless or steel, but that's not what I was interested in. I just wanted to do aluminum, and I made it work. But just things like that where some people, will be like, oh, well, we have, 10 grand here's a Tormek. Let's just get it, put it in and go. That's great. If you got the money, do it. But, and just stuff like that, where you're just constantly trying to, evolve and do things and stuff. So
more than that, it's about just having a very healthy sense of curiosity. I mean,
yes.
I didn't grow up around like power tools or machinery or anything like that. My fucking parents were just like, you're going to be a pharmacist, not doctor, pharmacist, kind of, right? But that's the thing. Like, I just didn't grow up around people who did shit themselves in that sense. But I always had that curiosity growing up to just know how shit works, right? And all that.
Talk about how shit works, because this is really interesting, because something that we haven't talked about. Because a lot of people have that, oh, it's just a spinning top. Let's talk for a second about the tolerances that have to exist for a top to function properly.
Sure. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. So basically, there's two things. I'll get this to where you can see it. So in machining, you have these geometric tolerances, and one of them is called concentricity. So you have the concentricity of the outside of your disc here to where the ball is. And if that ball runs out more than 5/10, and when in machinist terms, when we say 5/10, that's not 0.5, that's 0.0005. That's 5/10,000. So just to put it in perspective, your human hair is about 4,000. So this is 8 times that, smaller than that to where that ball is. And then you have to have a perpendicularity from your collar to your stem, and that's got to be 5/10 to 1,000 max. Because here's the thing: to make this top, just the machinist in me says it's not crazy difficult. I mean, it's not super easy, but it's not crazy difficult. But the thing is that when you have to hold everything that perfect, or this top will wobble. And so that's really the main inspection, is when you get it, you spin it. And if it's off at all, it'll wobble like crazy. Mm-hmm. And every maker
just like every other top that's cheap does, right?
Yeah.
Any top that you pick up, you start spinning it, and a second later it's going and it stops.
Yeah. And and that's another thing.
You talk about right?
See, that should have been in your review. See, I'm helping you for the next video.
I average about 10 minutes, probably 8 to 10 minutes a spin on an average spin on a top. That's pretty insane that something will stay perfectly spinning with no wobble for 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, our record, well, there's a lot of things that people have said, but our video of our Infinity top, a guy spun it for 27 minutes, hand spun no joke, it spun for 27 minutes. That's pretty cool. And then that one's on YouTube. I think that's actually on our website.
What's the biggest one you've built?
The biggest top I made? I made this
Yeah.
gigantic one. It was like 4 pounds, just to be fun. And the problem was, I put it on this cosmetic mirror. Oh, I wish I should have got you the video for this one because it's hilarious. I get this thing spinning. You got to use 2 hands because the thing is, it's
Yeah.
huge. I get this thing spinning, and at first I spin it and I'm filming it, and I'm just dying laughing the whole time I'm filming it because it's so ridiculous. It's like a clown top, this thing is so huge. And so then all of a sudden I realized this thing, once you get it going, it spins for a long time. And so I thought, well, I'll do a spin video with this thing, right? So I get it on the glass, and I'm all excited because I think this thing is going to spin for like 30 minutes. I get the thing spinning, I'm videotaping, and all of a sudden I hear this grinding. The thing was so much weight, it started boring the hole right into the mirror. And I'm like, okay.
Drill.
Yeah, so I ended up auctioning that one off, and one of my big customers has that one now. But yeah, it's called the Mega. That one's on that page that you had up before, the quick view of the tops, but it's just gigantic. So
Let's see if I can.
We've gone metaphysical in the chat.
I know, right?
When a cup is full, is it still a cup? What?
It's a top.
I completely agree with you, by the way, Masty. People have always asked me what I wanted to do. If I was independently wealthy, what would you do? Would you buy an island? Would you do whatever? And I've always said what I would do is I would either build like a machine shop or like a custom bike shop. And because I know very little about the actual workings of that, but I would hire somebody that does and just listen and just learn, because I would love to know how to do some of that stuff. But just never had the education.
Well, listen, we always have an open door policy. We've got guys from the group that stop up all the time, and we do shop tours and stuff. So if you guys are ever in the area or anybody watching, we'd love to give tours and educate people on this stuff. So
Be a hell of a commute from Texas, but I'd consider it.
Hey, we actually had 2 guys come over from London that came to visit us. Yeah,
That's cool.
It's such an interesting thing because you exist within basically kind of an art form and a toy and these really strict machining tolerances.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a combination of all these things that, tops aren't for everybody. And I think anybody fully understands that, right? But I will never deny, like it or not, that, there's some real work that goes into making these things something worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, and I just like to add, a lot of people don't get the whole top thing, and I get that. And the biggest thing I can compare tops to for people is a campfire. What is it about a campfire? We can all sit around a campfire. I don't know one person who doesn't enjoy that. There's something tranquil, or there's serenity, or whatever.
We have a guy in chat, Duro the machine. He might not enjoy the campfire.
He doesn't like anything, I don't think.
No.
Actually, there was one random, actually specific question for you that I need to scroll up and find because
The one about CAD and CAM?
yes,
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I'm
They're asking why not CAD and CAM couldn't.
All right, I got a video on YouTube about this, but I'll give you the quick version of why we don't do CAD. And I wouldn't say that we don't. There are cases where we do, but here's how CAD CAM works. So you design a part in the CAD part of it. You design the part, SolidWorks, whatever, and then from there you generate a program in the CAM part of it. And so you get this, and in the video I actually show pictures of it, but you get a program in the machine that you can't make sense of it by looking at it, okay? And so what that means is that if there's a problem with it, you have to go back to the computer, you have to change it on the computer, you have to do a whole other toolpath, and so in a job shop environment, if I'm making my own product, and let's say I have 10 parts total, I'm using a CAD CAM. There's no question. When we're busy, we have 100 jobs running through our shop constantly. There's 100 active jobs in our shop. Some jobs you might set up for an hour and run for 30 minutes, or they're quick. And so what we do is, the reason we use Mazak is they have a conversational programming called Mazatrol, and so it's very, very easy. I would say easy. I've been doing it for a long time, but it's easy to program directly right on the machine, and you can program while the previous job is running. So if the job's running, you can be making the program for the next job. What that does is it gives you a, if I was to call up a G-code programming, something that came from a CAM system, it would look like a foreign language to me. But if I look at Mesotrol, I can just look at it and I can see exactly what it's doing. It's very easy for me to edit it. And so in the job shop environment, what we've found is we want to train setup guys. We don't want to have, the button pusher types. So every guy can program. And so we want to be able to give any operator a job and say, here, do this job, program it, run it, edit it, just do whatever you need to do to get the job done. We found that that's a more efficient model in a job shop environment. Keep in mind, a job shop is you're making parts for other people, and there's a lot of them compared to somebody who's making your own product. Or even if you're a job shop in a more production environment, the CAD/CAM's better. But because we have such a, active job list, and guys might do 3-4 different jobs in the same day, can you imagine going back and forth, hey, this program, because you have a programmer. That guy isn't the programmer. You have to go to a programmer. He's got to change the program. It's got to come out. And then any edit that needs to be made, the programming guy has to do it rather than the operator. So here's what I'll tell you.
Just as an example, what he's talking about, Sean, if you want to come over to my screen, I'll show you guys a snippet of one of my G-codes that I have for one of my parts. Yep. So if you guys can see this, this is the G-code for, and you can see X and Y axis and everything on here. That is part of what he's talking about. This looks like gibberish. So. Right.
Yeah, and when you get into like 5-axis, so on this one you have you have one axis per line. When you get into 5-axis G-code programs, you'll have it'll have X, Y, Z, C, B all on the same line. So it'll be half the page, and the page will be a half a mile long for a program. And I actually do this in my YouTube video. Basically the same program is only maybe a foot long in Mesotrol to do the same thing that the G-code does. The G-code is faster. It'll run a program faster. So if you have your own product line and you're going to make a ton of these things, G-code will make the part faster than the conversational will, but not by much. And so the time you save programming in the setup drastically justifies that.
I assume that, do you have some of these machines networked? So when you're actually programming on the machine, you can save this. Is it saved on the machine? Is it saved to a network location? Like how are you guys keeping track of all that? And if you don't have to go into details, but just
no problem.
Overall.
Yeah, the old machines we had a network. The new machines, they're all PC based. And so they all have a USB port, and so we can and the nice thing is they all have a backup inside of them. So we back all the programs up, and then if we have to take a program from one machine to the other, we can just USB load it, put it in the next one. In 30 seconds, you can put a program wherever you want. Each machine, because it's PC based, has an enormous directory. So I can store 5,000 programs in one machine, and then we just call them up from the directory, and it's very fast. So
So I need to tangent for a minute because I'm in an argument with somebody in chat, and the beautiful thing about
I've acknowledged that
hosting is I can just bring it here and say it here. Somebody's saying that it's a stretch to call a top art, and I think that's full of shit.
You just let the terrorists win.
People bringing it on the show.
All I really feel the need to do is give you the specific definition of art. The expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form, which I won't even include because music, such as painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated.
Art. This is art.
To somebody
if that's not art, I don't know what is.
That has to be art.
To somebody that could be, and that's the thing, right? Art is such a subjective term. So some people might look at a top, which a top is basically a functional sculpture in a lot of ways.
Right.
And you can take a look at that and you can go, no art, if it doesn't suit your fancy. But I take a look at the machining that goes into something like this, and I absolutely see an art piece. I mean, I see art pieces in half the mods that I have.
I mean, there's creativity involved. There's material selection. There's the sculpting of it, and whether or not you're clicking on a keypad in the front of a 5-axis mill versus carving something out of stone with a chisel. It's still art.
You're taking something from your mind that's a concept, that's a visual or auditory concept, and you're making it a thing. It's not applied. It's just art.
So it's not high art. Okay, I'm tired of talking about this now.
Yeah, that's
Validated.
all I gotta say.
I think you have a lot of people out there that are very practical. They're just practical people. They want a Honda Civic. I want a Ferrari. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But you can't be practical and be like, but that painting is art.
Yeah.
Because paintings have even less real purpose.
If this is art,
Honestly, it's like picking and choosing what girl. Like you can have a group of 3 guys, right? And there'll be one chick that walks on the block, and not every time all 3 of them are going to think she's hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the way it is with tops too. Believe me.
Art. Bam.
Yeah.
look, it's art. I'm sharing art right now. But yeah. Anyway. Again, this subject is dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, definitively, I 100% consider this a form of art.
Shall we do the contest?
We shall do the contest. While you pull that up, I will talk about the other contest.
I've got it up, but you go ahead.
Well, there is another contest that we're going to be doing over time here.
Yes.
And we're going to let this one run probably till around the end of the week for all the replay guys. That's going to be for the flamed stainless steel top. It's the flamed copper top that we're going to pick a winner for tonight. The contest for later this week is going to be, and this is pretty open-ended for you guys. It should be easy, but we will have a thread in Plumes, 1 entry per person as per usual. But it is best top meme. Feel free to have fun. Make fun of tops as much as you like.
Yeah.
Please show me what you got.
I'm expecting a whole bunch of art-based memes.
So you're not going to hurt my feelings. Have some fun with it. So.
Let's see our MS Paint.
Sorry, I was busy making a joke in chat. All right, sharing now. Let's see application window. So our first entry is a very poor top.
This is a very poor top.
Okay.
I don't think that's gonna spin good. It will not be spinning. And Austin Green has got what appears to be some sort of Toby sort of Addy with a screw-in top.
Wait, hang on, stop. North Texas horses, donkeys, and mules for sale.
Thank you, Facebook relevant link.
I got the screenshot. Well, now we know. Hey guys, for Christmas, he's gonna need some donkey feed.
Oh boy! So Cloudsburg close.
Velocity style deck, probably.
Spinning top to attach to 510. So this is actually sort of functional and whatever, right? So fine. There's Austin Green's. Dustin Gwynn has got Mr. Squidward, which is interesting. I like the other axis. He shows you what it looks like when it's spinning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's stabbed copper. It's stabilized copper and Damascus hybrid, whatever that means. Here's Kyle Beck's High Horse Customs. This is I was thinking about shitting on this, but then you see what's at the top. He did this on his phone.
Yes.
So okay, all right. I'll give you that, Kyle. That's all right. Will Mears Poe live stream starting soon. Which is obviously just a joke and funny, which is too bad because Will entered twice. Oh. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Magnus Pearson. No.
Now, I'm sure Rich can probably appreciate that because that looks like a top that could hurt you.
I gotta make that. I gotta totally make that. Absolutely.
That's crazy.
It looks like he's added his own little dots here because they're not straight, which I dig. So that's at least he did a little work there. That's good.
Looks like something I'd make. The dots are crooked. Yeah, that's perfect.
It looks like a weird hybrid of like Japanese architecture mixed with let's see, something from Star Trek.
Yeah, I could see that.
Something Klingon.
Definitely something Klingon. Possibly a little Borgy.
Yeah. No, can't be Borgie. It's not square.
Here's Garrett. He thinks he should take Diet Coke. Super sweet top.
Nice.
I have actually made these before. I've totally done that.
I'd hope so.
This is Will's second one, which I actually kind of like. This
Oh, nice.
That's all kicks are good for now.
Yeah, I actually kind of. So let's ignore this one. I'm gonna.
So to catch you on that joke, Rich, the
Yep.
kick is a wattage, one of the early wattage regulating pieces for mods and vaping.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
You stick it in an unregulated tube mod, and it kind of regulates, which is nice.
Gotcha.
Kyle Cena, here's a picture of that one that we were talking about, the existing atomizer. That's the top.
Oh, yeah.
And he's obviously this is one of our admins, so he doesn't.
That's so meta, Kyle.
Yeah.
We made fun of that a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And here's Randy Domingo Battle Top. I mean,
Now, that one really looks like it could hurt you.
it does.
Yeah.
I see a lot of potential there.
It looks like knife, lawnmower blade knife.
Oh, that's the stem sticking up.
Oh,
Yeah. This is a stem. Yeah, you just missed the 3D part here.
So,
I'm disappointed in our fan base because there were no entries that may have been pointing to meat spin at any point. Come on. Like, I don't think I ask for much. I don't think I do, but there's much to ask for.
No, I think that probably would have made sense. Let's stop the thing. There we go. All right. Voting to be done in side chat.
we discuss inside chat.
Gotcha.
Rich, if you got to vote, put your vote in the side.
100% cast the vote.
I don't think we have any tech time, do we? It's
No.
2 hours in, but it is a long show tonight.
We kind of had like half an episode of Tech Time tonight.
Ooh, we're
I can get
split.
behind that one. I can totally get behind that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
That works for me.
Is that okay with you, Ahmed?
Sure.
All right. So the wiener. I'll share my screen so everybody can see.
Is not Anthony.
Congratulations goes to
Randy.
Oh, I didn't have my effects up. I should have done that better. Oh, Ooh. There we go. Just took a minute. Randy Domingo, congratulations. Well done.
Randy, when I make that exact top, you'll get one for free too. 'Cause,
That's awesome.
Yeah, just like everything in Plumes, contest entries can be utilized in other ways as we see fit.
Absolutely. And remember, there is another one that we're going to be running through the whole week. Best top meme. There will be a thread in the group for that shortly after this, and that will be for the Flamed SS one. So
That's right.
we'll have that one coming in the future as well. Rich, I super appreciate you coming on a vape show to chat with us about machining.
Absolutely.
It's very illuminating.
Even
been great.
what you make is not art, apparently.
Yeah. Hopefully it was very illuminating. Hopefully your what was the word? Damn it, I can't remember the specific art type that he cited. That is
Applied arts.
Yeah.
Applied arts.
Applied arts.
Hopefully your other people appreciate your applied arts as well.
It was a blast. I appreciate it.
Great. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming by.
Toodaloo.
Peace.
Out.